everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Talkies, brought to you by Carmen Line Studios. It is time for yet another short film roundup.
Short film roundup.
Short film roundup.
Short film roundup.
Yes. Thank you, Taylor.
Thank you, Taylor.
Team player right there.
Team
Taylor
players,
Schofield.
yes, indeed.
Okay, short film roundup. If you're unfamiliar with what we do here, we are going to review, dissect, tear apart, praise, and everything in between 3 short films that have been submitted to us by you, our audience of filmmakers.
Yep.
We have a thread on Reddit where you too can submit your film at r/Carmen Line Studios. Go check it out. If you have any work you'd like us to talk about here on the show, that is the place to do that.
Yes, sir.
But for now, let's just jump right in, shall we?
With the disclaimer.
Oh, the disclaimer.
Disclaim us, Kenny.
I will disclaim us. How long do we have to do the disclaimer?
Forever.
Every episode?
Every episode,
Is
forever,
it a
no.
legal thing?
Yes, it is.
A liability?
I could just
Yeah.
edit these in. It's just more fun to
If anyone is injured while watching short film roundup.
Thank you. We're not responsible for your death if you watch us.
The disclaimer is this, that we are brutally honest in our reviews on short film roundup, as we are in the talkies.
Brutally.
But just understand that we completely understand where you, as the artist, are coming from. We have made the exact same films that you have made. We've
Exact same.
exact
No
same.
difference.
We're claiming that you plagiarized our work. Our lawyers are coming to get you. No, we've made the same mistakes. We've learned the same lessons. Many of the films we cover are sometimes they're first films, sometimes they're student films, sometimes they're very amateur, and sometimes they're super pro. But either way, we're going to call it like we see it, and that's the point. That's the whole point, is that you can learn and that we can learn. And so far, for everyone, that's been a good experience.
Yeah.
We've only heard really good feedback from the people we have torn apart on short film roundup.
Which is awesome. That's so great.
Cool.
Yes, it is. It is. So, if it ever feels like we are laughing at you, know that we are also laughing at ourselves.
Yes.
With
that said,
can we start? Oh, what now? Gosh.
Can we start?
Thank you.
Our first roomful today is The Dolls, directed by Kristen Pennington. Kirsten?
D is the worst at names, and that's why he reads the names.
Yeah, that's why you gave him that position.
Kristin.
Kirsten.
Sure.
There's an American Girl doll by the same name. It's easy to remember.
Cool.
Watch it.
Go
Go
check
watch
it
it.
out.
It's in the link. Link down below.
We're back.
And we're back.
Hey.
Thank you. Okay, here we are. We just watched The Dolls, and
What'd you think, D?
oh,
D,
you first.
what'd you think about The Dolls? Yeah. So, Kenny.
Let me begin by saying that in many ways this is an accomplished film. They're certainly proficient in the way it was shot. I thought it was a very pretty film. It looked really well. Actors, it seemed like it was mostly amateur actors.
Yeah.
Maybe
People they had
cast-
around.
But people you had around, your friends. The kids actually did better than one would expect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even
absolutely.
better than some of the adults.
Yeah.
The kids actually did pretty dang good.
Yeah.
The acting's not great, but I felt like they were directed well.
Yeah.
In that I felt like the director communicated what they wanted to.
What they wanted to.
Yeah. Obviously, I think that where we're all going to have the biggest conversation around this film is its story.
Perhaps. I have, I pretty much made the exact kind of film before this one. Not...
Your student film.
Yeah. So my thesis, as it were, senior project. I actually made my senior project before my senior year.
This felt like a student film.
Yeah,
And Kirsten, if you're watching, you could let us know if was this a student project or not.
Yeah.
I'd love to know.
My film was very much the same in a way where I used a lot of music, just like this one did. In the very dark ambient music.
Yeah.
I even used the same
It
font.
was clearly the murderer theme.
Yeah. So the one thing that I learned the most on my film that I feel like this one could learn from too is direction, directing better. There were almost every shot in this film reminded me of a student film shot, and that's what I'm thinking is the student film shot is where you have your camera on a tripod, and you have two people in front talking to each other, and then you cut back and forth from that.
Yeah. It was not dynamic at all. It all seemed very textbook.
So it's textbook, but also the people inside the scene aren't moving around. They're not. You can tell they don't have a life of their own.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. Yeah.
They have one spot to stand.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's something that can really add life to a film is when you're like
They move.
when they're moving. That's
Walking.
That's basically it. When you have someone say there was a couple parts, but they had that like the dad or the man. The husband.
He was an uncle.
Uncle. The uncle was doing laundry at one point, and we saw him in the back.
That was a cool shot.
Yeah.
When they were following the girl to the sink,
Right.
and we saw the uncle through the glass door
Yeah.
pass by, and then he's outside the window.
And-
that
and
was
when he
actually
came-
a really cool shot.
And when he came in between the conversation that the two girls were having, that's dynamicism, and that's what needs to happen
Or when
More often.
more often.
the one
yeah.
girl came back in and hid behind the bed, and then reached up and grabbed her hand, and she came down behind
Yeah.
the bed too.
Yeah. So in
Yeah.
every
I'm not sure if it's so much direction of actors in real time as it is previs and blocking.
it could be, yeah, and some of it could be and a lot of it I know is probably from the script. You know, when you're writing the script, you're like, okay, these two girls are playing on the bed, so you're not thinking, okay, maybe they're getting out toys or anything. That's why I really liked that one part in Walk in the Park when the guy was
Last week's episode.
when he had his foot stuck in the bear trap and he said, "Help me," to the guy who was coming to stab him, because that was a moment that could happen in real life. This kind of feedback that you're getting from people. So anyway, so that being said, that is something that I really think could help with the direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now that that's out of the way, you want to start us off with the story?
Yeah. So pretty much my biggest issue with the whole movie was, I guess, the story as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, there's little pieces, like the idea of this kind of serial killer, slasher film, where the dude has like this trait of like creepy dolls and stuff. But I never really got a clear motivation or understanding of why
What's
this
happening.
killer is doing what he's doing. Like, sure, he has creepy dolls, but is that it? Why? I don't
And
understand
does that
why
make him a bad person or dangerous?
Yeah.
Because he messes with dolls in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're
know.
missing a big context.
Going
here.
from that to murdering someone
chainsaw.
was a leap
Yeah.
that just had no context, made no sense
Yeah,
whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah, I had a really hard time following that.
Yeah.
I felt like the filmmaker had a much larger story in her mind and then compressed it into a short film. And because of her closeness to the content, she has a context that the audience does not. I felt like the filmmaker had a bigger, broader context,
Yeah.
piecing all this together. That and when you're really close to your own movie and you don't have a lot of input from other creative types around you, it's really easy to assume that the audience knows things that there's just no way they could know.
Right.
And that's what I felt like was happening here.
Yeah, so from our perspective, it really seemed like this guy was just absolutely insane, a complete psychopath. But
Well, grounded enough for those two moms to be like, yeah, Uncle so-and-so will watch you guys, no problem.
right, and it's
Right?
because he had that he snapped from an instant from normal to serial killer, and that can be a cool thing in a film. But your whole film needs to be based around it. He seemed like a secondary choice.
And like doing weird things with dolls could be a great way to set up the concerns about a person's sanity.
Right.
But all we had was him messing with dolls in a garage and then one of the girls sees what he's doing with dolls, and she reacts like
she knows something bad's gonna
like
happen.
she's seen something she's not supposed to.
Yeah.
And then the biggest leap was him basically acknowledging that was true.
Right.
Like saying like, oh, she saw my dolls.
Yeah.
Now she
Yeah.
dies.
Yeah.
Right. So that was a big leap.
Yeah.
Right.
Instantly jumping to grabbing a chainsaw and chasing her down.
Yeah.
And,
The way he
killing her.
cut through the closet door
Yeah.
was kind of fun. I thought the way that she did that visually.
I didn't understand that at all.
I
well,
liked it as a
the motivation
visual.
made no sense.
Right. The
whatsoever.
aesthetic was nice.
And I don't.
Yeah.
But this aesthetic.
It
of,
wasn't
like,
a very efficient
slashes of light.
slash to get through. If he's trying to get
Well,
through,
he could have
keep
always
dropping.
opened the
Just
closet
open the
door.
door.
Yeah.
Just open the door. But
That's a good point.
I think
Yeah.
he's trying to make terror by
Right.
entering with a chainsaw. I don't know.
You still good?
So good. And still, even up to that point where he has a chainsaw on and he's chopped up the door, when he kills the girl, it still, to me, came out of nowhere completely. I
Yeah.
still hadn't seen enough to make me think he's actually a dangerous person.
Right.
It wouldn't have surprised me at all if he had been like, just kidding, I
Yeah,
got
it's
you
all
guys
gag.
so bad.
Same thing with
No.
me. One of the things that jumped out to me was there was this part. I keep bringing up my own films, but it's something that I'm very close to, and it's like one of the films that I had. This guy goes for a notebook and a pen just because he needs to write something down, and so when he does it, it's like he's in a place that he doesn't know about, and he goes and just grabs a notebook like out of just a black area. The audience didn't know there was a notebook there, but he did, right? So it was not directed right. So in this part, we have this chainsaw that's sitting in the. Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a chainsaw sitting in the foreground of the garage shot, and the whole time we're like, why is there a chainsaw here? I understand you can have tools, out in your garage and stuff like that, but there's blatantly a chainsaw sitting right.
Very broadcast.
Yeah, right where in front of his dolls and everything. And it's like the only way that could be there is so that he could pick it up.
Yeah.
And that really took me out.
Yeah. It really, it was really projecting to me that he was evil, and
Yeah.
like they just really hit the hammer
You
at
think
home that
so?
he's evil. But they never give you a reason why he's evil.
Well,
Yeah.
they even cued in the evil ambient music when he came to the door. And he just
Yeah.
innocuously came to the door and said hello.
Right.
And it goes, boom, and I thought that was an effective score,
The score was
but
great.
they brought
yeah.
it back in at a wrong place.
Yeah.
To where it almost felt just kind of silly.
Yeah.
Like every time we see this guy, we're going to hear boom.
It kind of reminded me of what was that movie we just saw?
Unfriended.
Unfriended 2.
Yeah, I could see this as a Blumhouse movie.
I really feel like there's just like a few things that they could change, and the whole movie would be so much better. Because really, I really like this idea of this guy just being completely unhinged and going from normal to crazy murderer, like in just an instant. But we need to see something like that happen. Mm-hmm. We need the motivation for it.
I really wanted to know what was the end in mind when he was putting like makeup on that doll at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then he messed up and he bashed his head in. But what if he hadn't messed up? What was he going to do? What was his purpose?
Right.
Does he just make up dolls and make them pretty?
Well,
Does he make them pretty and then like rape them or something? Does he have
Right.
some weird,
right.
I
I did see what they were trying to do in the beginning there when he was putting on the makeup. He was scared of a noise or something like that he heard. That shot, I don't know why. There seemed like there was only 2 shots in the garage. Both of them were wide shots from behind the table. I wonder if they just couldn't shoot around something. I don't know, but it seemed like they were kept on this big wide shot. And the first thing I thought was like, that's a really cool shot. But I felt like it was only done for when he was standing up. Like the opening shot is when he comes over to the table. We see him standing up, and then we see him sit down. And when he sits down, it just leaves this giant negative space, which I really like, but it doesn't do anything. And then when he's scared of that sound, we still are in the same wide shot, and he turns his head, and you can't really tell what's going on. You can just see the close up where he messes up and then turns his head, and it's not broadcasted enough. You need more oomph in there.
Yeah, I would really like to, because I mean, like, I keep having this thought of like, why is it that having weird destroyed dolls is that a inherent to a crazy person? Because he could be just like a weird artist or something, making like some crazy project that has like a bunch of dolls,
Right?
Or he could just like dressing up, doing makeup, bashing the heads off of dolls in his spare time. Because I think that's
stress
pretty.
relief. So he doesn't kill people with
normal,
chainsaws.
right? I mean, right?
If he was making up the doll, how come all of the dolls look so destroyed and terrible? Does he keep messing up?
I don't know, some like
Right.
maybe he's like a perfectionist.
Yeah.
He wants everything to be perfect, and he can never get
It's
it
just
perfect.
impossible.
So
But those dolls on the clothesline had like knives through them and stuff.
Yeah. Like you
why were they hanging on a clothesline? That's
To be dramatic when the other girl ran out there.
He's just he's an artist.
He could
It's an art
see-
installation.
He could see ahead like 6 or 7 steps, so he just knew the girl would run out there.
I'm wondering if
Why didn't she die?
oh,
Like,
that's
what
true.
happened?
Yeah,
I mean,
Well, he set the chainsaw down couple
because
shots
he didn't have a
before.
weapon.
They showed him like set the chainsaw
so
down.
because he didn't have his chainsaw, he
Yeah.
didn't kill her.
Yeah. He was just like, no, I'm just not gonna. I killed your friend, but I'm just not gonna kill you.
There's one thing
I
that
don't want to.
There's one thing that really bothered me about the chainsaw killing scene, and that was when he went to stab the girl with the chainsaw.
Yeah, they're like grounded.
He went like this, and immediately you would have blood splatter everywhere.
I was feeling the same. But you know, I get the feeling that it's one of those instances where it's like, yeah, shoot your movie in our house. Don't make a mess.
Don't make a mess,
You know?
right.
But yes, seeing that puddle sort of reach the girl's toes.
Yeah.
I think was a solution to some kind of logistic problem they were facing.
And in that instance, they should have reshot with a different weapon.
But if you're making a movie where you've already decided that this is going to be a blood and gore movie, and we're going to put a viewer discretion advised at the beginning,
Right.
then you go all in.
You do.
Yeah.
Show that blood splatter.
Yeah, I do want to say that the motivation here, I think, really could have worked with the doll collection thing. Like, if he was really, 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 like, close to the doll collection, does not want any eyes on this.
I mean, we needed to see something just more intimate.
Right.
Yeah.
And it didn't have to be perverse or disgusting. He could have just been just crazy about his perfect little doll world that no one else knew about. You know, it could have been many things, but we didn't get enough information to believe his reaction.
That's exactly it.
Especially when he more or less invited the girls to come see.
That's another
I'll be
thing.
in the garage, you know.
If you need me, right?
Yeah, she said, I'll be in the garage. And then the girl comes in the garage. You came into the garage? Now you're going to die.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm curious to know if this was meant to be a feature originally, if this was a larger project idea, and if so, what are some of the pieces that we're missing? Because I'd love to hear from the filmmaker and know what
kind of challenges.
What is the motivation of that murderer, and what happened to that girl? Because we see her in her therapy session at the end. Why is she there? And
how come the killer didn't kill her at that moment?
Yeah. So to Kirsten, I'd love to hear some more background on that story and some of the challenges you faced in getting that story into this short film format. Because I'm sure you overcame a lot of them to get this done. So. Thanks for sharing. Do we have any more on that one?
Thanks for using Trajan Pro.
He likes fonts a lot.
I don't. I just
fonts.
For someone who doesn't like fonts, you're a little fixated on fonts. Anyway, keep up the good work.
Yeah.
On to our next film.
Yeah, what we got next?
Next one is Elope.
Elope.
So the next film is Elope, created by, I'm going to butcher this name, I'm so sorry, Meeb Maholland.
And Meeb's like, that's my
Exactly
name.
right.
That's my name. Go watch it. Come right back. Link in description.
How your eyes close whenever you kiss me.
B.
So, other than the sort of letterbox, whatever you call that, aspect ratio, rounded edges look that was used so effectively in the movie Ghost earlier this year. Was it called Ghost or Ghost Story?
A Ghost Story.
Yeah, that was a cool movie. I really couldn't follow what was happening in this film at all.
Yeah.
I could follow. I don't like what it said.
I couldn't tell what it said.
Or not what it said.
I mean,
I don't
it was-
like how it said it.
I liked that it was sort of a tone poem made from what looked like memories.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's what it was doing.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. And some of the footage that was in there looked like genuine, real slices of life stuff, which
Yeah.
was also cool.
So-
But as a movie, I don't understand what happened here.
Can I explain what
Yeah.
I thought it was? From my perspective, I got there's a bunch of these home videos that are being stuck together to make the point that these girls used to be best friends when they were little and now they're apart because of this crazy fight or something that they had. Or one of them said, kill yourself, and maybe they did or something like that. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I
didn't get that.
Yeah, I got that, and I know what they're going for here is the contrast between the cute memory music, going with the slideshow aspect ratio, kind of looking on memories, and then getting into a darker path where you're like, see what actually happened and stuff like that. I don't like the way it did it because I feel like the contrast was the only way they did the storytelling. You couldn't really hear any of the distorted audio that I know was supposed to be distorted because it's a phone call. But you couldn't really hear it. You couldn't really make it
It's
out.
hard to tell what they were saying.
Other
than that, there was anger.
Yeah, a lot of the scenes that were dark, that were showing a conflict between these two girls, wasn't clear. Except that you could see it was shot in their living room with a club light, which I'm guessing was supposed to be a club or something. And that being mixed with actual home footage, which looked like actual home footage, was really. I don't think it helped. I think it increased the dissonance between these two ideas of trying to tell a story and reminiscing at the same time, and that really drew me out.
I didn't really feel any dissonance. This pretty much completely worked for me. Like, I loved it, honestly. Like, I actually didn't get as much as a story as you did. I just took it as there was a breakup in a relationship. That's kind of what I got out of it. But I loved how it was told. Exact opposite of you. I loved the way it was executed.
But you're saying that you didn't get a story from it. You just like the way they told whatever it was.
I got that it was about a breakup.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it.
Okay.
Story narrative wise.
Like a tone poem about a breakup.
In other words, he didn't get as much story out of it, but he doesn't care. 'Cause
Yes.
it was more about what he felt.
That's pretty much what I'm saying. Yeah. And I loved how that was executed.
I like the feeling that I got from it because I feel like this is super easy for filmmakers, and I'm sorry if that makes me sound super pretentious, and because I know it does, but I feel like it's really easy for filmmakers to say, let's insert something really traumatic and then put something really happy over it so that it's contrasty and weird. Because I did that a lot, making films, and a lot of my friends did that a lot making films. It's because it's fun to look at, and it's really, it makes the audience feel uneasy, and it's really, that's nice to have because you can actually emote easily that way. But again, that's the thing, is it's just emoting, and I feel like it's not really doing anything with it. And it doesn't have to have a message, it doesn't have to have a story, it doesn't have to clearly say anything specific, but I felt like it was trying to, and that is what hurt it for me.
I felt like it. I mean, I felt like it did exactly what it meant to. I loved the I loved that I couldn't hear everything they were saying, but I liked that I could pick up, like in the angry phone call, I couldn't hear every word, but I loved that I could pick up slight words like kill and like bitch and just harsh words that are just like being distorted to hell. Mm-hmm. I loved that abrasive feeling. At first I thought it was like too loud, but then as it kept going I was like, this is intense. I don't know, it did it for me. Like I wouldn't really, I don't have any criticisms to give of it really. As far as it not doing like something, I have a hard time understanding where you're coming from with that exactly, because like I don't know what to say to that.
What did you feel about this?
I was more underwhelmed than not. I liked when that the recording of the phone message came in over the music, because it was super abrasive and it worked.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's overused or not, it certainly worked, and it made me go like, oh.
Yeah.
But it would have been such a more powerful moment if I had already grasped what was happening. That's my main criticism, is that like I couldn't connect if there was a relationship here between two people or not. There just wasn't enough visually for me to stitch together any visuals that let me put some empathy, let me build some empathy so that I could connect. If I connected to someone or to both someones, so that when that voicemail came in, then it would have significantly more impact than it did. So I'll say, like, as a tone poem, it worked because it did convey a tone.
A tone, yeah, it did.
But that tone could have had much more strength and weight if there was just the slightest bit more of character development.
Okay, so I think then what you and I are getting is that there was a character intention here.
I think so.
And what you're getting is that there was a tone intention.
I think there was a bigger emphasis on the tone than a character.
And I don't disagree. I think there was.
Yeah.
I just feel like that it could have been better if they had a little more character in there.
As far as that goes, can you say anything about the technical aspects here?
Like the way it was shot?
Yeah.
I got the impression of it, the aspect ratio with it isn't even really an aspect ratio. It's like filter.
It's almost square
because it's curved.
Well, it's supposed to be like a slideshow.
Yeah.
I think old Super 8 film reels were that way too.
Yeah.
You still good?
Yeah. I have 3 more minutes.
So that made it feel very intimate to me.
Yeah. It did feel really intimate.
And I loved that. I loved the editing also and how it flowed with the music. It seemed to really flow with the music and the way the movements of shots, like actresses, like kind of would flow into the next cut. It all felt very smooth. Not a lot of hard cuts, you know.
There was another short film we covered that was edited similarly to this. That was also a more like a tone poem. Do you remember that short film? I forgot what it was called, but it was...
Was it the black and white one? Like the harsh
black
and white with
the match lighting and all that?
Yeah.
Corsican,
yeah.
Corsican.
Did you... I don't remember what you thought about that one. Did you like the editing in that one? Because I felt like it was...
I liked some of the editing of it. I didn't like all of the editing.
Yeah. Was it because it wasn't synced up with music, or was it? I don't remember.
The music was really repetitive in that.
That's right.
And so it wasn't really synced up with the music. And then there were some times where the editing would suffer for an effect. Like the editing would all of a sudden slow down for that translucent doubled up effect, that kind of ghosty effect. It kind of like halted for a second. Whereas this felt like a consistent pacing all the way through.
It was definitely
which
consistent.
I really liked.
Yeah. And I think the reason why what do you call it? When you said intimate, that really brought to light the idea that the whole thing at the end of the voicemail, the reason why I think it was so abrasive was because you were so pulled in to this whatever it was that was going on.
And so that was effective.
Yeah.
The main feeling I got was this. It didn't feel like a movie at all. It didn't feel like a film. It felt like somehow we had magically collected a person's memories.
Maybe not a story, but a film nonetheless.
There was no celluloid involved. It's not a film.
Maybe there was.
Maybe there was.
No. What I mean is, I'm not saying it's not a film or movie. I'm saying it didn't feel like I was watching a film or movie. It felt like someone magically handed me someone's memories.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the context to understand the memories, but I was watching them nonetheless. And it was like borderline between nostalgic and frightening.
You know what? When they had the little girls, and they had like this video look, which I'm guessing was real footage, that felt like the person who was recording them was a real person, and then the other ones where they're grown up didn't feel like there was a real person recording. It was just a narrative, like
There were a few shots where it seemed too narrative.
Yeah.
And that didn't sew together with the rest of the feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It should have
true.
all looked like
The video thing.
Yeah, like family movies.
Right.
Because when we cut out of that, but we still stayed in that.
I'm wondering. I think I would have liked that a lot more actually, if like one of the girls had been filming the other one, during those segments.
Or maybe if we were, instead of directly cutting to the footage, we saw like one of the girls watching the footage or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, that is true, because that one shot where it zooms in on the little girl and she like turns around and looks right at the camera and just zooms like right in on our face was like so awesome. Like it was real. That's the thing. I feel like that was actual home video.
There was,
and it was very genuine. And like you were saying, it's so genuine that it distracts from the stuff that was acted and that was like fake.
Right.
Yeah, more or less. So that is an interesting thought. Maybe they could have done better to blend the two, or go all the way one way or another.
I think with the direction they could have.
Yeah.
Not have this overseer kind of cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what it had. Like the present day stuff was definitely an omniscient force, rather than found footage, which is interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah, it's not inherently bad. It's just it was definitely dissonant though.
I would have liked. Personally, I prefer the omniscient route. I would have liked if the entire thing was like that. So, like I said earlier, just watching the girl watch the footage.
Another short film that we saw with everything takes place inside the eye, that was all omniscient. Also.
Yep.
Could have worked either way. That's cool.
Alrighty.
Anything else? That was a surprisingly passive conversation.
I know. I thought we were going to fight more, but maybe we've already gotten it out of our systems, and we just
we just kind of know
that you want things to have a story, and you don't care if they do, and I just tend to float in the middle here. But anyways, thank you for your submission. That was really a lot of fun to watch and review, and keep up the good work. And let's move on to our next.
Our third film, our last film for today is called Sean Beyan, The Man with No Cock. Written and directed by Jake Wesley Worrell and Luke Prados, something like that. Please go watch the link.
Yeah, check it out
in the description.
Kids. And we're back.
Taylor,
Ew.
tell us about The Man with No Cock.
This guy, he had an old dick.
Thanks.
All right, so that's a short film roundup.
All right, so this was a mockumentary.
Yes, it's a mockumentary about a guy who has no penis and what it's like to live without a penis. And they make some jokes and stuff. Some of the jokes are really funny. The idea of the whole thing is funny and it's interesting. And there's a lot of clever gags. Like, I liked the one where he has a job interview. Like, for whatever reason, because he doesn't have a penis, he can't get a job or something like that.
No,
that's kind of what it implies.
They keep talking like people without penises are a discriminated against minority.
Yeah. So he gets a job interview, and we see this really long shot where they speed up the footage of him walking all the way to the building, and then he gets in the building, and then they stay on it, and then he just immediately walks out and walks back.
Not immediately. We sat
there for a while, yeah.
For like 20, 30 seconds.
It was funny that he was told no so fast that they didn't even have to cut the footage.
Right.
Stuff like that was really funny. I think the conclusion that we all came to was that there was a lot funny here and a lot that is good with a lot of potential, but that it was just spread thin. And it was just too long for what they showed. There wasn't enough to fill the 19 minutes.
The stuff that I really did enjoy about this was the documentary style type footage that they kept doing, and I think as a filmmaker I really like it, and as just a regular audience member I think you're right, it was spread too thin. But there were like, I don't know if this is a joke or not, but like the first 5 minutes of the film or so, we see shots of the guy throughout his daily life, but his daily life is eating. It's just he's walking with the groceries.
I was wondering, like, why is he always grocery shopping?
He's always eating, always grocery shopping, and I just thought that was a really weird choice. And I was thinking either this is brilliant because they're saying that that's all documentaries do is just film people while they're shopping.
Yeah.
And I think that's really funny, or that's just what they could think of. I don't know.
I don't know. I like that actually. I like that a lot.
I thought it was kind of funny.
I actually liked a lot about this movie. There wasn't much of it that I didn't enjoy watching, but I still had the same feeling at the end that this could have been a lot better.
Right.
And I think the reason is that they had some really good ideas, but not enough to fill 20 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
So some bits were just overdone, and some parts didn't need to be in there at all. I really liked the world building, because this was in a fictional world. He created this strange world where people are discriminated against for not having a penis. I mean, there was spray paint on the walls in 3 places where it had his name
specifically
written,
him, yeah.
Specifically him.
Right.
And it says has no cock. And like on like a city wall, in the building where he lived, and down at the beach.
So you know what's funny? I didn't get a universe or a world from that. I got that this specific guy is being made fun of because he specifically doesn't have one.
I felt the same way, yeah. But I'm starting to like thinking about it as another
I feel
world.
like it was a world.
I think it's funny
because he it seemed like he genuinely was discriminated against, right?
Right.
Like,
I like the idea that it's just something that just is normal.
They threw a dildo at his window,
and he picks it up like,
and he's like, again,
yeah,
right. That was great.
That was a fancy dildo.
That was, yeah. It had like motorized stuff.
Two-pronged.
There was some stuff that the stuff that I think really worked for it, like as a documentary, was the pieces that directly related to his condition, right? So there was some stuff that, like we said, he's always eating, or like that didn't really make any sense. But then when he's online talking to the girl,
yeah, that part was good.
That was great, like because it's directly relatable, and not to a person, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
to him as a character.
Yeah,
that was a funny scene.
But you see, you know what? The character is funnier than any of the gags were.
Right. And
that's what I think the problem was. Is like you didn't need jokes, and it was funnier when it was just acting like a completely genuine documentary.
Yeah. You didn't need any
because
of the warehouse,
when he says when they make the joke about the porn,
yeah,
and they say like, well, what do you do when you watch porn? And he says, oh, I take notes. Then it was like, oh yeah, we're watching a fake documentary. Now I remember there's jokes.
Right.
Yeah. Same with his drawings.
The drawings
where
too,
he had just like every drawing was phallus,
Yeah, that was-
phallus-centric.
Yeah.
Right.
A little too much.
Yeah, if it was just the daily life of this guy and he just happens to have no penis, then
Yeah, and that stuff was the better stuff, and I think that if it were just that, no like gags,
Yeah.
and a bit shorter, that when the main joke, the great twist at the end happened, it would have been so much funnier.
I think so too.
As it was, it caught me off guard. I didn't see it coming, and I loved it. I liked that ending. I thought it was rather funny, but after 20 minutes, it's not as funny as it could have been.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely like it's like making a fake documentary. You got to make a fake documentary, you know? Like you're not making a comedy. Documentaries aren't typically comedies. They're not to make you laugh. They're documenting something.
Right.
So you have to document this guy's life, what it's like to not have a penis, not make necessarily a lot of gags, like you were saying.
And the funniness comes from
The situation.
The situation,
itself.
right.
Yeah.
Or
and
the
character,
person.
yeah.
or the character.
Yeah,
right.
the way they act in this world, and that's what the master of this category. What's his name? Gus.
Michael Moore.
Michael Moore. Yeah. No, his name.
Good Michael Moore.
Is it Peter Guest or something? Christopher Guest.
His last name's Guest.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's the pioneer of this genre. And I've seen a few indie ones. People float to this genre every now and then. 'Cause it's
love
very
this genre.
fun.
Yeah.
There's one that almost no one knows about that I loved, and it's called Forgotten Silver, and it was
you told us
Peter
about this.
Jackson's first film.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he makes a documentary about a fictional person who's a filmmaker who they discover all of his works in a chest in New Zealand, and it turns out that he actually innovated like every famous and great film technique, but years before anyone in America, had done it. And it's pulled off very sort of straight lace, it's not like in your face silly comedy.
Right.
And that's kind of what makes it funny.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. The places where this really shined was when that guy was just being him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I liked this idea that part of his dealing with the frustration of his situation is by going to the abandoned building and just like destroying stuff and venting. I like that, and I like that he is kind of wimpy about how he destroys stuff, but like again, that goes back into the other kind of just the length thing where it's just too long.
And
where it's like, yeah, it's
just a
funny
gag.
for a little bit, and
Right.
it stays around a little too long.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think every filmmaker who's embarking on a short film should challenge themselves to find ways to make it as short as possible. Because that's what we've seen over and over and over again, you
Yeah.
know. It's like great ideas, often paired with great execution, but they just let it go too far. And
Right.
it ends up stretched thin. There's too much movie and not enough foundation to hold it up.
I'm wondering what could remedy that besides an artificial limitation. I don't know.
Just knowing what to cut, basically.
I guess that's what it is. I
Well, yeah, I
suppose.
think you should edit your film
Yeah.
before you write it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what people should do.
Like import the footage and
the whole thing, yeah,
Yeah.
on Premiere.
and then write it again.
No, what I mean is that like when you come up with your idea, how compact can you make that idea?
Yeah.
Like ask yourself, okay, I have this idea for a movie, and you know, showing every single step of the story from beginning to end might be a 2-hour movie.
Mhm.
But could you tell the same story in 10 minutes?
That's a thing
Could
right
you
there.
tell the same story in 30 seconds?
Finding what you're actually saying.
And really challenge yourself.
Yeah.
And I think people would be very surprised at what they can do.
Right. Right. Interesting.
yeah. Like, do you need this gag?
Right.
Do you need this shot?
Most of the best shorts we've seen have been under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
The ones that we've raved the most about have
Pretty
been
much.
short.
That's true. Yeah. Ones that are to the point.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Long films suck.
Lawrence of Arabia should have been 10 minutes long.
Yeah,
10 minutes
that
max.
movie could easily have been 10 minutes. Instead,
Yeah.
it's 3.5 hours, close to the 4-hour mark, just wandering around the desert.
Star Wars just could have been like a clip.
Yeah, just blow the Death Star up. That's all you need.
That's all.
Maybe more like a GIF.
A GIF.
Yeah, it could
Yeah,
have been a
Star
GIF.
Wars could have been a GIF.
Yeah.
If your
Dragon Ball
movie-
Z,
that could have been 2 GIFs.
2 GIFs.
Right.
I don't know where this is
Yeah,
going.
I don't know.
I think we're done. That's what this
Oh, is that what
means.
this happens?
That's what this means.
Please.
To the makers of The Man Without a Cock, thank you for sending us your film.
Yes.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was-
we
it was
enjoyed
fun.
it a lot.
Yeah,
We did.
I really did.
Yeah. Keep it up. We didn't say the character, the performance, the actor was quite good.
He was really good.
He was
Yeah.
good, yeah.
Really, really good.
Dude has chops.
Yeah.
So keep it up.
I want to see more stuff from you, and filmmaker.
Yeah.
You know what I would adapt that film into is just an ongoing series. Take that character, give him like a Facebook profile, and have him put
Dude.
up like Facebook Live videos.
There's a
about
guy that-
living with no penis, and that'd been really funny.
There's an actor that does something similar on YouTube.
There's a lot of things like that.
I like
out
that
there.
stuff.
I like stuff like that. But anyway, thank you.
Yeah. There's a discussion thread up right now
Mm-hmm.
on our subreddit where you can go and discuss the films that we're going to talk about next week.
Ooh.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
And if you go and discuss some
Brilliant.
films in there, we might even bring up some of your points in that episode.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Go to that thread, watch the movies, and talk about them.
Yeah, check
Disagree
it out.
with us
Disagree with us
before we talk
before
about it.
you know what we think of them.
And if you have a movie to share with us that you would like to have the same treatment that we just doled out to these poor souls, submit them at r/Carmenline Studios over on Reddit.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Cool.
Well, that wraps it up. Until next time, I'm Kenny,
I'm D.
I'm Taylor.
and we will see you at the talkies.
Oh, no. Yeah. Oh!
Cheers. Our powers combined. I'm
Cough, cough.
I'm very impressed, Gavin.